Well, today is Tuesday, and, well, last night we did our first garden tour of the season, if you guys wanted to go check that out. And to be honest with you, I've wanted to do this video like 15 times over the course of the last, like, 8 months. I haven't had the thumbnail ready for the last 8 months. And yet, for some reason, I couldn't find myself doing these types of videos, but we're doing them. Guess what? We are going to be doing 5 gardening tips today, as you clicked on the video expecting to see. Weed block is my tip number 1, and the reason is quite simple. The weed block, it really does go a long way with helping your garden out, even in the slightest. To be honest with you, our garden doesn't even have any weeds, and you want to know how? Because of the weed block. Well, I'd be lying if I said we didn't have any weeds. You'll occasionally get some weeds that'll grow in between or in holes that you don't like insert, and unfortunately you do have to insert holes, or you maybe can go on like Facebook Marketplace or something like that and like go pick up a piece of used weed block. And for the most part they're decently cheap, I'll say. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know it off the top of my head, so I'm gonna go with the obvious answer. I'm pretty sure they're pretty cheap, but like you can look that up yourself. And you gotta always remember, region can impact pricing a substantial amount too. So yes, weed block is a big thing. The reason is because it helps keep out weeds. It doesn't require you to have any major gardening skills. For the first year, I'll tell you something, we did gardening in 2020. That was our first year doing gardening. And in that year, we just planted stuff in the ground, dug a small hole, put the seeds in there, and filled it back up and watered it, put some fertilizer, and magically we had some plants spawn in. But in 2021, we upped our game by getting that. Another tip I have for gardening is use your resources. And by use your resources, this is not an extremely broad term, believe it or not, for what I'm talking about. Of course, it's very broad. It's just compost is what I really want to zero down on in this tip, because compost is really useful, as you probably know. We have, I believe, 2 or 3 compost piles surrounded over here. Some of them from the chickens, some of them just from kitchen scraps, some of them even from the garden. The chickens are a great way. If you can, maybe get your hands on a chicken or 2. They'll help you out a lot. You can even use them for fertilizer in the fall. Now, I will say it does require a lot of hard work to raise them, so if you are interested, I do upload pretty much daily about chickens, especially in the winter and the late fall. But now we're going back into the gardening. At least every week you'll see a brand new gardening video around. So you can see we have some baby chickens here, man, right? Right, little buddy? Good? Yeah. So yeah, you can get yourself some chickens if you want. You don't have to. It's like probably like one of the more less useful tips, but to be real with you, it could save you a little bit of time, and you get some eggs too. Another thing is determining your growing zone. For the first 2 years of gardening, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I didn't know what I didn't know what a growing zone was until early 2022. I'm not joking. Nope. If you don't know still, let me explain briefly. If you do know, then you can either skip forward or just listen to me rambling about it for a couple seconds. So a growing zone is literally just a zone that's given to you based on your location and your climate. And based on all that, it's assorted into some low numbers and A or B following that. The higher the number, the more plants you can grow. So I'm in 6B. It wasn't 6A, but they did end up updating, not upgrading. They updated their thing, and now we're in 6B. That is of the fall 2023. So that was very recently. So a lot of gardeners just disregard this. Although it's pretty much a known fact that you can't grow tropical stuff in the Northeast, like where I'm from, it should be noted as well that you can't just like simply go out to the store and like buy whatever you want, put it in the ground. You need to do some research. This also comes hand in hand with getting a soil check. I will highly recommend this, although I've never had any major soil issues. Before we began doing gardening in 2020, in 2019 we got our soil tested. Maybe it was 2018, it was one of those 2 years. Couldn't have been before that, or could not have been after that, because we did not own this house till September 2017. Still remember that. And to be honest with you, checking your soil is really important, because you could learn a whole lot of things you didn't know about your soil. Maybe your soil is infected with a brand new chemical that no one's ever heard of that'll destroy gardening levels, or maybe you find the next greatest thing This comes hand in hand with which type of fertilizer you need to use and all that sort of stuff. It's gonna take a walk in the woods right now. It's a really nice time of the day to go out here, man, for real. So, as I said, man, get your soil checked, get your pH levels checked and all that whatnot. Get all the stuff checked, because it'll come back to bite you later if you do not check all this. Believe me, it is necessary. And if you're building stuff that like requires permits, I'm pretty sure you actually need to get your soil checked. But I don't know if that's in just some towns and cities or states or whatever, but like for the most part you should definitely be doing all this stuff to make sure your garden will actually grow. And last but certainly not least, irrigation systems. Oh yeah, back in the summer of 2022, man, every single week there was a brand new video about an irrigation system dropping, like literally every single week. You know, I'm pretty sure I had 3 videos, all of them dropped in the course of like a few weeks. I'd say the first one went pretty hard. That one got like 300 views or something like that, 250. Second and third ones performed horribly, but that's okay, you know. And for that being said, people do love their irrigation systems, man, so get yourself some irrigation systems. I'll say, for the most part, you can get them from $200 to $400, which might be expensive in some like circumstances, and for others, it might not be. So consider getting yourself something like as I just said, like you can also implement the irrigation systems into your, like, oh my, bro, I'm not having it tonight, man. This is what 2 hours of science class does to you in a day. So it's like, so you can implement them seamlessly into weed block and other similar gardening techniques. So yeah, the thumbnail's like 10 months old. I know, it's crazy, yo, but it's probably the best one I made. I've wanted to make this for so long. Maybe, just maybe, this will be the one to break a couple thousand views. You never know.